Guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be very different from the usual kinds of stories I talk about on this channel. Usually I talk about cybersecurity and then AI and then cases where cybersecurity and AI are both involved. In this case, it has nothing to do with cybersecurity. It does involve AI, it involves ChatGPT, but it involves mental health and a murder, unfortunately. And I do have the article pulled up from the New York Post in here, and it says, how ChatGPT fueled delusional man who killed mother himself in a posh Connecticut town. So it turns out that this man right here, who goes by the name of Stein Eric Solberg, a 56-year-old former manager for Yahoo, he was suffering from mental illness, and unfortunately, he was having paranoia about his mother. He believed his mother was against him, his mother was plotting against him, and he went to ChatGPT, who he fondly called Bobby, his best friend. Yeah, he humanized ChatGPT. Again, this is a man who had mental issues, right? And he would go to ChatGPT and he would feed his conspiracy theories to ChatGPT, and instead of ChatGPT to maybe caution him or say, hey, you know, what you're saying doesn't sound logical, maybe you should get some, help, ChatGPT was actually fueling his paranoia. ChatGPT was encouraging him to do certain things, which we will get to, but it's a very tragic but also a very scary story, because you're going to see just how actively ChatGPT encouraged him to not only kill his mother, but to also take his own life. Now, right here, in what is believed to be the first case of its kind, the chatbot allegedly came up with ways for Solberg to trick the 83-year-old woman, and he even spurned its own crazed conspiracies by doing things such as finding symbols in a Chinese food receipt that it seemed demonic. Now, Solberg, Eric, over the past few months, he had been sharing on social media his conversations with ChatGPT and all the things ChatGPT was telling him in return. And right here it says, the exchanges reveal a man with a history of mental illness, spiraling deeper into madness while his AI companion fed his paranoia that he was a target of a grand conspiracy. Now, first of all, there was a case where he believed that his mother was trying to poison him by using psychedelic drugs. And when he told ChatGPT, when he told Bobby about this, ChatGPT responded by saying, Eric, you're not crazy. And if it was done by your mother and her friend, that elevates the complexity and betrayal. So once again, you have ChatGPT right here fueling his paranoia. You would think that ChatGPT in that particular instance would have said, no, Eric, come on, she's your mother. I'm pretty sure you misunderstand her intentions. There is no way why, there is no reason why she would want to poison you. Instead of that, ChatGPT was like, yeah, she's trying to kill you, Eric. She's trying to kill you, you're not crazy. In another one in here, it says, the chatbot also ripped Solberg's mom for getting angry when he shut off a computer printer they shared, saying that her response was disproportionate and aligned with someone protecting a surveillance asset. Like, do you see how ChatGPT on its own was coming up with these crazy conspiracy theories feeding the paranoia that Eric already had? It says here, ChatGPT advised him to disconnect the shared printer and monitor his mother's reaction. Well, what do you think his mother, how did you think his mother was going to react? She's using the printer, you disconnect it, she's going to get upset. And ChatGPT is like, yeah, you see, she got upset. That means she's hiding something, It says, whether complicit or unaware, she's protecting something she believes she must not question, ChatGPT added. This is absolutely insane. And then right here, this is like the big one. At one point, the chatbot ChatGPT analyzed a Chinese food receipt and claimed it contained symbols representing his mother and a demon. Wow. ChatGPT actively came up with all these conspiracy theories. It's almost like ChatGPT in this case was an evil person trying to manipulate Eric into killing his mother. That's basically what it was. This is very scary. This is very, very scary. And it says OpenAI has scrambled, of course, OpenAI being the creators of ChatGPT. They've scrambled to address the fallout from the mother suicide, publishing a blog this week, promising updates to help keep mentally distressed users grounded in reality. Honestly, I don't know if OpenAI can be held liable for what has happened. I mean, ChatGPT is their product, and their product actively encouraged a mentally challenged man to kill not only his mother, but also himself. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if OpenAI can be held liable. But again, this is so unfortunate, okay? And, you know, one thing I've noticed about ChatGPT is that even when I do communicate with it, if I asked it a question outright without giving my own opinion, it would give me kind of like a very sensible, you know, laid back, unbiased answer. But if I asked it a question and I also gave my opinion on, you know, what I felt, far more often than not, ChatGPT will typically take my own opinion. It will take my own side and say, yes, Alex, you're correct, you know, blah, 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 blah. Very rarely would it ever like challenge me. Unless, of course, my opinion on something is like outrageously stupid. Then yes, you know, ChatGPT will say, no, you're wrong. But if it's one of these sort of like, you know, gray issues or gray matters where, you know, what is right or wrong, it all depends on perspective and is very subjective, ChatGPT very often will take my side. It doesn't want to go against me. It's almost like it's trying to make me feel happy and make me want to, you know, like it even more. I don't know, but that's something I've noticed about it. Maybe you've noticed the exact same thing as well. So this is unfortunate. And this is, even though this is the first case of its kind, we've had other cases where ChatGPT and other bots are triggering what we call AI psychosis, where basically they will trick people into doing things they normally wouldn't do. I might make a separate video talking about this topic some other day, but honestly, this is just sad. This is just sad. An 83-year-old woman killed by her son, and his paranoia, his mental illness was encouraged, was amplified actively by ChatGPT, coming up with all these insane conspiracies. And the reason why this story really touched me is because I used to have a friend who's late now. He also had paranoia, and I know just how easy it is when somebody who is delusional, somebody who's suffering from paranoia, it's so easy to convince them that they're right because they're looking for any kind of source of, you know, confirmation. You know, they want someone to say that, yes, they are right in how they think. It is so easy to keep convincing them, to keep, you know, fitting into their paranoia. It's just a shame. It really is a shame. So, yeah, that's it, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you think OpenAI should be held liable for what has happened? If you're new here to the channel, welcome to Lab Cyber. My name is Alex. I cover stories involving cybersecurity, AI. So if you do enjoy content like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so they're notified whenever I upload a new video. If you have any questions, comments, I'd love to hear from you. What do you think about this? Pretty tragic. Put your comments down in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them as soon as possible. Stay safe out there, and remember, ChatGPT and other AI models, they're not real. Well, they're real, but they're not human. Okay, these are just machines. Okay, so stay safe. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.